What if the future of international relations rested on the waters of the South China Sea? This question might sound dramatic, but it's a reality we're facing today. The South China Sea, a body of water that has long been a hotbed of dispute, has been thrust into the spotlight once again. This time, the key players are the Philippines and China, two nations with a complex history and an even more complex present. For years, the South China Sea has been a chessboard where nations vie for control, with territorial claims clashing and overlapping. China's expansive claims have been a particular point of contention, sparking tension and occasional conflict with neighboring countries. One of these nations is the Philippines, a country that has often found itself on the receiving end of what it terms as dangerous attacks from China. Recently, a new voice has entered the fray. Marcos, a prominent figure in the Philippines, has pledged to take action against these dangerous attacks. He's promising to stand up to China, to protect his country's territorial integrity, and to seek a peaceful resolution to this volatile dispute. So what exactly are these dangerous attacks, and what does Marcos's promise mean for the South China Sea dispute? China's dangerous attacks, what are we talking about here? Well, it's a complex issue involving military, economic, and political factors. These actions are centered around the South China Sea, an area of immense strategic importance. China's military developments in this region are particularly concerning. These include the construction of artificial islands and the militarization of reefs. With these actions, China is flexing its muscles, demonstrating its military prowess, and asserting its dominance in the region. This is seen as a direct threat to the sovereignty of the Philippines and other nations with claims in the South China Sea. On the economic front, China's actions have a significant impact. The South China Sea is a major shipping route, with around one-third of the world's maritime trade passing through it. Any disruption in this area could potentially wreak havoc on global trade, affecting economies far beyond those of the directly involved nations. Finally, there's the political aspect. China's aggressive stance in the South China Sea is viewed as a challenge to the existing global order. It's a defiance of international law and a disregard for the rights of smaller nations. It's a move that threatens to destabilize the region and potentially trigger a broader conflict. These are the dangerous attacks we're referring to. They are actions that are not just military in nature, but also carry significant economic and political implications. They are moves that threaten to disrupt the delicate balance of power in the region and have far-reaching consequences for nations around the world. With China's actions causing waves, Marcos steps up with a promise to take action. But what does this action entail? Marcos's promise, a beacon of hope or an empty pledge? This is the question that's been buzzing in the minds of political enthusiasts and concerned citizens alike. Marcos, a prominent figure in the Philippines, has made a bold promise to take action following China's dangerous attacks in the South China Sea. But what does this promise entail? Marcos has pledged to uphold the sovereignty and territorial integrity of the Philippines in the face of these alleged attacks. This involves reinforcing the country's maritime security, bolstering its defense capabilities, and engaging in diplomatic dialogues with China and other involved countries. As promising as this sounds, it's not without its challenges. China is a major global power, and the Philippines' relationship with it is complex, to say the least. Balancing national security with diplomatic relations will require a tightrope walk of strategic maneuvering. And then there's the impact to consider. How will this promise affect the already tense South China Sea dispute? Will it escalate tensions or pave the way for peaceful resolution? The implications of Marcos's promise are far-reaching. It could potentially redefine the Philippines' stance in the international arena, influence its relationship with China, and alter the course of the South China Sea dispute. But it's also important to remember that promises are only as good as their fulfillment. Marcos's promise certainly adds a new dimension to the South China Sea dispute, but will it bring about the desired change? This remains to be seen. As we continue to monitor the unfolding situation, one thing is clear: the world is watching with bated breath. Is the South China Sea dispute on the brink of a significant turn? In the wake of China's dangerous attacks and Marcos's promise of action, the South China Sea dispute has been thrust into the global spotlight. The stakes are high, and the implications of this dispute are far-reaching. China's dangerous attacks signal a potential escalation in tensions, raising questions about regional stability and international law. Marcos's promise, on the other hand, represents a commitment to protect the Philippines' sovereignty and interests. But it's more than just a national issue. It's a matter of regional security and global balance of power. Looking ahead, the future of the dispute is uncertain. Could this lead to a diplomatic resolution or escalate into a larger conflict? Will it reshape the economic landscape of the region or redefine military alliances? These are questions that time will answer. What is certain, however, is that the South China Sea dispute is more than just a territorial conflict. It's a test of wills, a struggle for control, and a barometer of the shifting power dynamics in the region. As the waves of the South China Sea continue to churn, the world watches, waiting to see how Marcos's promise may shape the future of this global dispute. Stay tuned for more updates on this evolving story.